Hello and welcome back to Distant Worlds 2. We are continuing our Ikkuro playthrough here, and we are on the new control update for this episode. So there's been a couple little tweaks and changes, bug fixes. I'm kind of excited to go through that and see how that is. Let's go to speed 4 and let everything kind of catch up to where it's at. We shouldn't see as much latency as we've seen in the past on some of this stuff. Particularly like when we're retrofitting a ship that has like thousands of it, like the bombers and fighters. I think they fixed that, so that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and look at this new colony here. So our economy seems to have caught up and we're in the positive, so we could definitely afford to start building more fleets. As a matter of fact, I believe I definitely need to start scaling up so that I can go to war relatively soon. It's gonna take a little time, but we'll get there. Looks like cash flow is really good for private economy, although it is spending every dime it makes is pretty typical. Looks like a lot of resources queued up, and we have some of the old Shakturi construction ships here. So, speaking of which, we did destroy those Shakturi, and on a ship level, we have, looks like if we look at ships that are not in a fleet, we've got a decent amount here that we have set to retire that we're ripping apart. I'm hoping to make some progress on the weapons. I don't know if we'll get anything on the wormhole drive or any of that stuff, but I do still have 3 ships that I didn't tell to deconstruct so that we can play the game of deconstructing, reconstructing. I didn't read through all of the patch notes, but some look pretty promising. I did change my spy and mission, so not just stealing tech anymore. I did allow for some like approval and sabotage missions. So now that we're a little bit deeper into the game, I think it's a good idea to start doing that. Research stations, looks like we're pretty solid on that. Construction yard locations, definitely think we need to start scaling this stuff up, especially with all these Shakturi boys here. The spaceports, I think, are really valuable to have because that's just straight extra research. And then our next tech is superior research, which will not only increase, by like 20 or 30% by itself, but because of the research lab upgrade, but the Galactic Science Center gives us a flat plus 20 empire wide. So as soon as we build that, we'll get an extra plus 20 on top of that. So that's really going to help with the research. All right, mission exposed. All right. So I think what I need to do, we have a couple attack fleets. We have a couple invasion. Put this by name. I think we need 2 more attack fleets, 2 more invasion fleets, maybe 2 more defense fleets. Hey, has been executed. Yikes. All right, so attack fleets, defense fleets, and invasion fleets. Just get little bit each. We'll get them named. See, we're up to 6 invasion fleets, so we got to do 7. Then once these are all actually built, it looks like we got a decent amount of Victory ships there. Did I not build another attack fleet? Thought I built 2. Oh, there's another new colony. I made the mistake of forming from existing ships. Probably shouldn't have done that because I wanted some of those ships to stay out of the fleets. Alright, let's take a quick gander at the colony ships. Looks like we still have a ton of them. Because we still have a ton of planets we're trying to colonize. If we have this sort by suitability, we could see there's even more we can colonize. So, I think before we start worrying about invasions or anything, we really need to finish all this colonization. And there's, oh, I don't know, 80? 100 planets? Love to colonize as much of this as possible. That's just gotta help us scale up our population massively. And it's all Shakturi. Another agent captured. No fun. The growth rate is crazy. 24%. That's very massive. Superior research, we could definitely crash this, so let's go ahead and do that. Cost a little bit of money, but that's fine. Alright, we should see the number of colonies we have just spike. Let's sort by population so we can go to the lowest pop ones here and make sure we're building the right buildings that we need. What is that? Unknown runes? So that hasn't been discovered yet. It's an outpost. So some of these are colonizing with more population than some of these original ones. Like they're starting off because we have that newer colonization tech. I mean, I suppose I don't need to go through... I don't think I necessarily need to go through this list. We can look at planetary facilities here, right? No, that's only to upgrade them. Not to build them originally. They will build on their own eventually, but I like building these as fast as possible. Just because you get the extra leader quality and the colony happiness. I mean, it's not really moving the needle on funds or anything, but... Sulfur Volcanic Moon. My guess is Shakturi. Yeah, they're positive there. Alright, how are we doing on construction ships? We got 50 of them? Looks like they're mostly all running around doing something. Aside from maybe 1 or 2. This number's larger. It used to be 100, now it's 1,000. Alright, looks like our economy is starting to build defensive bases as well. Take a quick look at this. Pretty strong. Yeah, quantum shards, that's what I want. Alright, superior research is done. That immediately bumped up our research output by a little bit. And now I need to build that one building. If it doesn't build on its own. Like it might already be being built somewhere. Don't know where. Oh, right here. Alright, so Galactic Wonder plus 20 all research. As soon as that's done. Gonna be a nice little bump. We can see the development is plus 18 from other items, so I don't think it's capped out. Yeah, that growth rate gets even better once this administration metropolis is built. Alright, look at that. Research output 24,000. That's huge. Mega carriers getting churned out. I don't know why crash research, like, I have it turned on. I have plenty of money and I have plenty of cash flow, and it still doesn't crash research in time. It will near the end, like when it's at 80% or something, but it's not as useful then. Maybe it's trying to preserve some money that I have. All right, so I should have made some progress here deconstructing all of those ships. Let's take a quick gander at weapon tech, because that seems to be the thing that it was mostly getting. Well, this doesn't move the needle too terribly much, but all right. So actually, it pretty much did nothing. Breaking down those ships. I don't have any new techs. I haven't made significant progress on any particular area here. I could go for super shields. It's only 8 years now. It might be worth it. We don't do a ton of capturing, but I suppose I'll go ahead and put that on there just in case. Get colossal construction underway as well. It'll be about a little over 2.5 years. But it'll get me the Dreadnought Fleet Carrier and Sector Spaceport, which then I can bump up even further as far as the maximum amount of space I can shove onto them. This shipyard would be nice because it would ship maintenance savings 15%. That's pretty huge empire-wide. It's only 3 years. All right, let's add that once these techs complete. I was hoping to maybe get some wormhole drive or something like that, but alas, that did not pan out. All right, so luxury passenger transport. Expensive, but let's crash research that and get that done sooner than later. This gives me more trade income, more development, more colony income. So between that and this should make a pretty significant difference in the economy. Kind of like to bump that up the list a little bit. That's only 69 days. We should knock that out and be done with it. All right, so all these upgrades are just kind of like little incremental upgrades that are going to make us better. Top up this fleet and retrofit it. I did not set home bases for any of those, so probably should get that going as well. I think we ultimately will go after either the Beskarians or the yellow guys. If anything, just to get rid of that color on my map. Set an attack fleet over here. Set a invasion fleet over here. Well, once it's done, it will head over there. All right, looking at these. Oh, there's an alliance. Still part of that alliance, huh? Interesting. All right, let's go through and build some more spaceports everywhere that we can, because that's just going to help our economy and our research even further. There's a ton that are available now that these planets are starting to grow. We're at 25,000 research output now. Pretty massive. Now, is there an existing planet, like a sulfur planet, and maybe something like this where I can apply all volcanic colonies just so that we don't end up with the wrong type of population on there all the time? Surely there is a Shakturi planet around here somewhere. Okay, you are. Alright, this looks like this is all set correctly, so let's just apply that real quick. Ultimate troop transport is not an in-place upgrade, so we are going to have to retrofit our transport ships, which is a little unfortunate, but not the worst thing in the world. Take a look at our troop transport. We are at army transport. Is there another larger size one available? Army is the biggest right now. All right, let's just upgrade the existing one so it doesn't modify anything. All right, it seems insistent on those particular fields, but let's go ahead and swap them to Meridian Shields just because we know that we're going to be utilizing that. Debated taking this off. Let's see if it makes a difference if we want to add some more massive troop compartments. So it will. They actually fit 2 more on if I get rid of that weapon. And these aren't really utilizing weapons, so let's go ahead and retrofit that. And that's going to make these guys hold way more troops than they have been able to in the past. We do have these hyper denies. I should probably retrofit a ship to add those. I think the ship I will modify to have that is going to be the fleet carrier. We'll look at that in a minute. So this command cruiser, I think this is the one I'd like to add that stuff to, because this is the one that has the fleet countermeasure system and the fleet targeting system. Shrink down some of that size. The weapons aren't as important on this because it isn't being used for that purpose. So what we need on here is the hyper deny. All right, there we go. Got the hyper deny on here. That's going to help out quite a bit. Got the maximum amount of engines on this thing. I guess I'll pop an omni vector so they can maneuver a little bit better. And then we're gonna need another reactor. But pop that on there. How's our static energy use versus energy collection rate? We're good there. All right, so like every fleet should have some of these. All right, we need to look at our fleets because that did not seem correct. All right, so we want a latest design for patrol cruiser. And then for cruiser, I want a fleet command cruiser. I want 2 of those. I want to do the same with the attack fleet. Fleet command, 2 of them. And then the same with the defense fleet. Oh no, we already did defense. We need to do invasion. This needs to be the patrol cruiser. And we want the fleet command. All right, and I'm just going to double check that that's exactly what that was. Fleet command cruiser, it was. Okay. So now we need to just retrofit or top up all of our current fleets. Is it dropping them out? It looks like it is. Shouldn't be doing that. All right, all of our fleets are being retrofit now. And then once they're retrofit, we could top up and build a couple extra things. All right, let's pop back to our planets. We know we need to add a couple buildings here. This is a crazy amount of Jekturi growth. Like, that's going to be one of the largest populations in our empire by the end of this. All right, reality replacement, advanced recreation center, which I don't think is an in-place upgrade, so I'm going to have to retrofit again. But that's all right. I do want to queue this stuff up as well, just to start these going down their respective paths. That's going to help our defense tech a little bit. Let's take a look at the victory conditions. We are #1 currently. Apparently there's still a large forest out there that I don't control. And the medical academy must be built by somebody else because that's galaxy-wide. Take a look at what construction yard locations are available. Want to build as many of those as possible. That's just going to keep our tech flowing. I am a little surprised that the colony ships are not loading up more. But maybe there's just not enough people. We have a lot of planets flagged for colonization. But maybe it's either it's only doing a couple at a time, or it can't find enough population to load 89 million off of any one particular planet. Not sure which one it is, but hopefully we figure it out sooner than later. our population growth is like exponentially exploding right now. Let's upgrade this from an outpost to a planet. Okay, we're on to component replication. That's going to give us, well, one in galaxy. I don't know if we'll get it done first. Same with that one. But if we do get it done first, that's pretty rapid tech. Right, fast bombers. Looks like we stole that. New leader. I like that. Let's check them out. All right, not a terrible leader. Definitely helping our economy quite a bit. We look up here. Never mind. That was a lie. Tanking our economy. So I think our previous leader had way more bonuses to like population. Maybe it was tourism income. And I think that's what was siphoning out all the money from the private economy. Maybe. I don't know. We're actually in the negative now. That's not good. What is happening? The question is, can I dismiss this guy without causing a major rebellion? Does have inspiring presence though, which just gives everyone a bonus. Anybody that's on this in the same planet, which I imagine many of our people are. It's slow going, but you can see it tick up like 95, 96. Gonna slowly increase everybody. Right, I do have it set not to delete troops when we're in the negative, so I'm hoping things scale appropriately and we work towards cash positive again. Component replication. Yeah, so we'll know pretty soon if this building is built or not. All right, let's get everybody off of here except for the Shakturi or the Baskarans. Okay, component replication is complete. Let's look at these planets by... I don't think the AI would have started building it this quickly. I paused it almost immediately. Unfortunately, I do think what that means is that somebody already has this shipyard complex built. And it ain't me. So somebody said development was capped at plus 30% in the comments. But looking at this, it doesn't look like it is. It says plus 65 from other items. It doesn't say cap. Well, on to the next tech. I'm guessing if that other thing was built, then this is likely built as well. Oh boy. What did I do? That's not good. Spent every dime we had. Well, at least it seems to be coming back relatively quickly. We do have a little bit of funding going into research and colony growth still. How badly is that affecting our colony growth? go to a low planet. It did drop, like, actually quite a bit. Let's just keep building these spaceports while we can. Chewing through most of our money, but that's fine. What it's there for. I wish our economy didn't go so wonky the second we got that new leader. It's one of the downsides of this type of leadership. All right, looks like we are still retrofitting. But it seems like a pretty fair amount of it is already taken care of. All right, troop maintenance savings about to tick up level-wise. So hopefully that means something. But I think our government, not mistaken, harmonious utopia. I mean, I could go silly and do like a Way of Darkness. It does appoint a new character. I'll be honest, this looks way better. It's just bonuses across the board. The only thing I lose is tourism income, which isn't really that significant of a difference. And coup d'etat is like 100-year leader term. Highly disruptive, but it's 100 years before I have to deal with the new leader. And it appoints a new character, which means they're being spawned from thin air. And the main benefit of that is if we look at our bonuses, we go to leader quality. %464% leader quality. So that leader is gonna be incredible when they do get spawned. So maybe I'll do enhanced leaders just to bump that up the list. $160 days seems totally worth it. And then, yeah, let's just knock out this entire, well, maybe not the entire tree, but we can knock some of these out and increase leader quality just a little bit more. Gonna leave us in a pretty good spot. And we'll build more. Oh, hello. So they did not build that galactic wonder. So let's look at revenue. It looks like this population has the most revenue right now. And they're not near any sort of quote-unquote cap, so build that space commerce. It's an empire-wide bonus anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But that's +5 colony development on every planet. And colony income on every planet. That's massive. Sort by population, come down here, make sure all these are building. All right, what just happened there? Stole heavy shock forces, tough interceptors. We did our first leader quality upgrade. And each one of these buildings also gives +2. So the more planets we colonize, the better off this is gonna be for me. Alright, so this is built. Could have made a pretty significant economic impact. Yeah, it did. This is up a lot. Alright, let's take another look at our colony situation here. The very large amount of ships. Most of them just sitting there doing nothing. Which again, I don't really understand because there's definitely a lot of planets flagged and ready to be colonized. Oh, +1 all research. How have we not moved Shakturi over to this yet? Or this one. Alright, so we are cash positive, but just barely. Turning out some more troops, it looks like. Still loading troops on all of our invasion. Most of these ships, I imagine, are retrofit at this point. Let's top up all of our fleets and make sure we get all the right cruiser types in here. I have to be a little bit mindful of the money because we're not super cash positive. So it looks like we're still kicking ships out of our fleets and I guess repurposing them. I was kind of hoping that wasn't gonna happen. I thought we did a pretty decent job of retrofitting. Alright, pretty good there. Working on legendary leaders now. And then I'll let 1 year of epic leaders, or 1 round of that recurring epic leader research to finish. And then I'll switch to Way of Darkness and become the Dark Ikkuro. Still in the lead by a decent amount. We haven't yet gotten in too much trouble here. Yeah, I feel like the Shakturi have kind of infested our empire. We have so many Shakturi population now. I don't think there's a way I can view the amount of each population we have. That would be kind of cool to see. Apparently I don't have enough money to crash research that. We're going really deep in the negative here. I don't like that. Not really sure what's leading to that. Private economy seems to still be expanding. It's at plus 5 million now. Not really seeing a whole lot of material that's worth mining here. I'm gonna crash research that just to get it done as fast as possible. Maybe all these new colonies are catching up to me financially. I mean, it's not significant. In the grand scheme of things, the colonies are pretty tiny. There does come a point where they become cash positive. I bet you we're paying a ton for terraforming. Looks like we're auto building those. Tourism's still a decent chunk. Definitely not nothing. Facility maintenance. Okay, so we stole heavy shock forces and some more interceptors stuff. Your Falcon tech. Is that better than what we had? I don't think it is. No, so it's the human specific tech. I don't think that really moves the needle on much of anything. All right, let's get these fighter bases done. 0-point energy might be nice. Self-reinforcing shields would be good as well, because that would be the version 3, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. Let's start working our way towards the beam superflow. Yeah, so facility maintenance, I guess, isn't terrible. All right, let's switch over to the Way of Darkness. All right, maybe not the best idea. We did lose some planets. I don't want to waste my time being diplomatic with all of these guys. I'm just going to invade all of these planets. And it's going to put me super in the negative with a bunch of people. But I don't care. It was a necessary evil, so that we get maximal bonuses. Why can't I invade this? Ah, there's not a fleet close enough. Take a look at our new leader, the Dark Lord. All right, some better research tech. Exploration time. This. Oh, hear that storm in the background. It is storming pretty hard by me right now. Maybe not as good as I thought he was gonna be, but not nothing. I imagine mining rate's gonna increase quite a bit. All right, well, let's get that built up. Are you still not flagged? No, you're flagged. I think Andu's the only one that's not flagged. I mean, it caps at -100. We might as well just invade every independent colony that is around. Yeah, this is definitely a better idea than trying to go the diplomatic route. That would have taken forever. All right, where is this at? Oh, it's up in our territory here. All right, we're at least cash positive now. No, you're right here. Just invade that planet right. I feel like we lost at least a couple of these planets to other people. We'll set you back on automatic. I don't think there's any invasion fleet nearby this guy. You know what? Why don't you go invade this? Because that's not my invasion fleet. That's why. And that's why I have to destroy the yellow one. Because they are confusing. Alright, you would ultimately be over here anyway. So let's have you go invade that planet. Why are you not invading? Do you not have any troops? Waiting for another invasion fleet to show up. Alright, this is back under our control. Then this is the last guy to reconquer. Perfect. Alright, we got 3 or 4 more colony ships flying around and doing some colonization. Don't need to flag that. We're about to invade that. Take that over. Alright, let's see if we can crash research this colossal construction here real quick. Used a lot of the cash, but that's fine. How's our Dark Lord doing? Military ship maintenance savings plus 23%. That's pretty big. I wish he had more traits. Alright, at least our cash flow is starting to come up. Take a little time, but getting there. Okay, looks like they fixed this menu too. So when I select spy, it's actually spy, ambassador, admiral's actually admiral. We should probably recruit some of these people while we got cash on hand. There's no scientists or anything, so like we don't have that, which is unfortunate. We did capture this last colony here. We'll recruit all of these spies, or as many as possible anyway. It's brutal when you gotta keep clicking this button and it fails over and over again. I wish it would be a little quicker. Or just say like, recruit and pay up to this amount, and then whenever it succeeds, it just tells you how much you spent. Because this is just tedious. Okay, so we got Dreadnought and Fleet Carrier are the 2 newest ship designs that we have. I didn't mean to obsolete that, but that's alright. Dreadnought's got a massive hull size, slightly bigger than the current ship we have. Go ahead and see what auto-generate gives us on this. It looks like we're fairly well blended with quantum shards and some heavy railguns. I think is the one I want. No, it's forge rail battery. That's what I want. Alright, I think I'm good there. Let's take a look at the energy. Yep. Alright, that's our first dreadnought. Go ahead and build that. That hull can be upgraded, so ultimately we're going to be able to put all the engines we need to on there. And then let's look for a weird max size, because it's a percentage based increase, that tech that we researched. Sector spaceport is twice as big as the large spaceport. Can we put a hyper deny on this? Yes. Seems to make sense to do that. Still plenty of hull size. Alright, railguns definitely got to go away for this. The swarm battery has a pretty massive range. Put some Titan blasters on here. Some forge rail batteries. Yeah, I do think the reinforcing swarm batteries could be good. Just a couple. I do want the Meridian shields instead of the other ones. Space isn't an issue, but ultimately these Meridian shields are going to be just better units. And then there's no reason not to max out. Probably put... those are size 50, so I can't put any more. But let's go ahead and put some more medium starfighter bays. We have the crew capacity to handle it. It's requiring a lot more power. So we actually need 2 more reactors. Still good there. All right, we have Commerce Center, Recreation Center, Medical Center. All that's still good. I think we're in a good place. Go ahead and save that. We'll replace the large spaceports with that. Then I'm having a hard time finding which thing I just upgraded. The fleet carrier, what I'm looking for. Fleet carrier. And right now we just have a carrier. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is way bigger than the current carrier design that we have. All right, we're going to go Titan Blaster for the small spot there. Looks like we're all decked out Meridian shields. Now, it is a carrier, so I would think more starfighter bays are the way to go there. Just barely enough crew capacity. Barely enough power. Okay. I think that leaves us in a pretty good spot. I already have Hyper Deny on here, so I don't think I need to modify anything. Call that carrier F1. That'll replace the 114 carriers I already have. Perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call it an episode there. I think we've made a good amount of progress, although we now have a ton of retrofitting to do. And our economy is suddenly not in a great shape. So I'm hoping that kind of straightens itself out pretty quickly. We were cash positive. Can't say we are anymore because it looks like we're spending a bunch of money retrofitting ships now, which is fine. We'll be in a good place once they're all done being retrofit. But while they're being retrofit, that's pretty abysmal. Go ahead and get that built. Take a quick gander at our current colony situation. So it looks like we are still got 19 colony ships left, and 2 or 3 of them are still, sending out to colonies actively. So we have what, about 20 to 30 more colonies to try to scoop under our control. 265 colonies. I think we started the episode with like a little over 200, so massive increase since the previous episode. We could see here that we are just slowly kind of chipping away. and adding more population to all of our current planets. We did switch over government type to Way of Darkness just to get all of these extra bonuses and get a appointment of new character generation. Didn't get the best leader, at least like economically, but not terrible, just not the best. That being said, we're stuck with them for like 100 years, and right now we're just trying to get back to the point where we're cash positive. We recaptured most, if not all, of the planets that rebelled against us when we converted government types. So hopefully that pulls out pretty well. Our reputation was massively hampered, and that's probably really what's affecting our economy more than anything. Our reputation was just decimated when we had to reinvade all of those colonies, and now we're kind of paying the price for it. That being said, I do think there's an avenue for us to try to recover from this a little bit. I am going to go ahead and research these diplotechs and move them to the very top of the list here, because that is going to immediately bump our reputation up, which is going to help our happiness, which in turn is going to help our economic recovery. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to see more content in the future, and we will catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.